And welcome back. Here's something you do not see every day. A 24-foot tall cultural cliche. But it's our cliche, our cultural cliche, and a piece of local Americana that still inspires double takes here in this place where we live. Here now with another installment in his continuing series, 17's Robert Price.
Admit it, you've been driving down Alfred Harrell Highway on your way to Hart Park, looked out your window to the north and said, "What on earth?" Of course, you'd have to be under the age of 50 or not from around here to not know at least part of the story of the Big Indian. That's the fiberglass Paul Bunyan-sized Native American statue that was relocated from the Garces Circle in the mid-70s across town to, eventually, 22 years ago, Ethel's Old Corral Cafe on Alfred Harrell Highway. It seems the Big Indian took a couple detours on its way to Ethel's. This is Ken Barnes, whose father bought the Big Indian in 1964 and put it in front of his family's tire store on the Garces Circle. Not to keep Father Garces company, but to promote Mohawk tires.
Many mornings I used to drive to work, there'd be arrows shot in it. Teenagers would drive around the circle at night, and I assume out the window of their car they'd shoot arrows. More often than not, I'd find arrows on the roof.
The Barnes family sold their store in 1972, and the Indians stayed with the new owners. But the city of Bakersfield passed a sign ordinance in 1976 outlawing statues larger than life size, and the Indian was ejected from the city limits. But somehow the Indian made its way to Oildale's Standard Middle School, whose mascot was and remains the Warriors.
It was on a trailer, could be raised up and down, they could move it around.
What happened after that, no one is sure.
One night in the late 1980s, my son, Michael, who was a deputy sheriff for Kern County, called me in the middle of the night about 1 in the morning, said, "Dad, you'll never believe what I'm looking at. I'm seeing the Big Indian laying in the back of a fellow's yard here in Oildale off of an alley."
The Big Indian was in the possession of Vietnam veteran Marv Rothling, who was in the process of restoring it to the tune of $7,000. Then, in 2000, Rothling gifted it to Ethel's, the iconic cowboy bar and burger joint just east of the Kern River oil field. It stands there still today. Speaking of iconic, the Big Indian has some noteworthy cousins. The same man who in 1961 commissioned his first giant fiberglass likeness of a horse later provided other tire and muffler stores with so-called muffler men, as well as a Paul Bunyan statue for an Arizona cafe and an army of Bob's Big Boys for the Southern California restaurant chain. How is the Big Indian holding up in this era of political sensitivity to depictions of race? Barnes said he's heard almost no complaints. He hopes this piece of local pseudo-architectural significance, like the giant shoe on Chester Avenue, continues to enjoy its historical exemption.
It's been here for 60 years, so it's just kind of part of our local Bakersfield.
At Ethel's Corral, Robert Price, 17 News.
Yeah,
I did not know the history of that. That was a good lesson.
I did not either. Robert Price covering a lot of ground right there.
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Up next here at